So now that we've gone ahead and downloaded Eclipse, we can start configuring Git. Now the good news is that usually Eclipse IDE downloads from eclipse.org, like we did in the last video, has inbuilt support for Git. So in other words, no additional installation will be required. There will still be some configuration steps to follow later in the video, but you won't actually have to install Git as such to get it working, or at least install the Git plugin, the additional software that Eclipse uses to interface with Git. So what we can do is check to see whether that's installed in your version of Eclipse. So to check it, we come up to the window menu and we select Preferences. And what we're looking for is Git, and the best way to try and find it is just to type in Git in here. And you can see when I did that, we've actually got Git set up here. So what that's telling us is that this is already installed. If you did a search in your preferences and couldn't find anything, that would tell you that you do need to proceed with the installation. So let me now show you, in the event that you haven't got the Git set up in Eclipse working, how to get that working. So click on Cancel to get out of this. We want to come over here to the Help menu and click on Install New Software. Then we want to come over here and click on Add. Then under the name, we're just going to type in eGit. Now that can actually be anything, it doesn't really matter. The location should be download.eclipse.org/egit in lowercase /updates. Okay, and click on Update. Give it a moment to work. And that'll come up with these three files. So what you'd do is you'd select all three of them by clicking on Select All. Click on Next. And you'd go ahead and that would actually do the installation. But you can see down here, your original request has been modified and it's actually telling us that it's already installed so that I don't need to do anything. But in your case, that would install if you didn't already have Git on your in your version of Eclipse. So I'm actually going to cancel out of this. That's because I don't need to do anything, but that's how you'd go about it in any event. All right. So in either case, whether you had Git already installed or if you didn't have it set up in Eclipse and you have set it up now by following that Install New Software option, we now want to change a few things. We want to go into the Git Preferences and make a few changes. So I'm going to come up here and click on Window, Preferences. Okay, we'll do that search again for Git, as we saw earlier in the video. And we want to click on Team and then Git. And I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger so we can see this a bit better. Now the thing to look at here is the default repository folder. And if you clone a new repository via the Eclipse Git tools, then it's going to create by default a new subfolder from the new Git repository in a default directory. Now this default path can be configured, as you can see over here, by changing that. So if the right value is not there, you can click on the Browse button up here and you can navigate to the folder where by default you want clone repositories to go to. Okay, we'll have a look now at Git configuration. Now these are the settings that it's reading from the .git config file, and you won't be able to see my email address on the screen, but that would be where your email address is. And we can look in system settings and repository settings. We've talked about those earlier in the course, but the ones that we're looking at and using are the user settings. So again, you want to check that you have got the email and the name correctly configured in Git, which should have been picked up automatically as it was in this particular case here. So if you needed to, you'd come over here to the right and click on Add Entry and add your versions. All right, now to simplify access to the common Git operations, what we're going to do is activate the Git toolbar and the useful Eclipse views to make it a bit easier to see what we're doing with Git. So to do that, I'm going to click OK to close down the preferences. We're going to go to Window, select Perspective, and then select Customize Perspective. And you can see we've got this option over here for Git that's currently not enabled, so I'm going to click on that. All right, so we need to go across to Action Set Availability. Click on Git and click on Git Action, so Git Navigation Actions, and click on OK to that. Then come back to Window, click on Perspective, click on Customize Perspective, and now we should be able to come over here and expand this out, and we can see that Git is now enabled there. So in the toolbar, we've now got the various options of Git that we'll be able to select. If we have a look under menu visibility, we should also see that Git is also selected there, so we can also access it from there if we want to. So that's all configured correctly, so let's click OK there. Now the other thing that Eclipse Git can do is provide the Git repositories view, and that allows you to browse your repositories, to add or initialize local repositories, or to clone remote repositories, check out projects, manage your branches, those types of things. So obviously it's a very useful view. So to bring that up so that we can use it, you click on Window, Show View, click on Other. Now here under Git, we want to select Git Repositories and also Git Staging. So I'm clicking on the first one and then holding down Shift and selecting the second one. So I've got both Git Repositories and Git Staging selected. And by the way, if I didn't want to select it by choosing the menu, I could have just typed it here in the text, but this way is easy enough. Click on OK. And down the bottom now you can see that we've got the Git Staging area. We've also got this Git Repositories where we can add local Git repositories, so on and so forth. And we've now got the various Git options showing up here as well. Push current branch, fetch, specify remote and reference, pull changes from upstream, so on and so forth. We've also got a menu option here now for Git, where you can click on the relevant options. And obviously because we're not really set up, we haven't got our repository set up, these aren't enabled at the moment, but that's where we'll ultimately be able to access them. And again, here down the bottom left, we've got now Git repositories showing where we've got the ability to add an existing local Git repository, to clone, so on and so forth. And we'll be playing around with that in the next video. All right, so let's leave it here. We've now got our configuration of Eclipse completed. With the next video, we're going to import the project, the test Java project file into Eclipse, and then we're going to start working on importing that project into GitHub. So I'll see you in the next video.